Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, September 27, 2024. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves today addressed the UN General Assembly, informing the International Forum that small island developing states, SIDS, continue to face unfair treatment from institutions and other groups. Accompanied by Minister of Foreign Affairs Frederick Stevenson and Olympic athlete Shafiqa Maloney, the Prime Minister emphasized that SIDS, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines, must be treated more favorably.
Our travails are enduring in a global community largely disinterested in our well-being and that of small states generally. We in SIDS remain unequally yoked in a global community motivated by the baser instincts of the untrammeled power of money, ideology, guns, lethal weapons, territorial and global dominance. To be sure, the SIDS have made incremental advances in the global community and in the architecture of international relations. Nevertheless, for us in SIDS, it has been a situation akin to going up a dung escalator, in which the dung escalator is moving at a faster pace than the upward baby steps.
The Prime Minister demanded that more be done in the interest of the millions of people living in SIDS.
We demand, as of right, a special support from the international community to address efficaciously the unique social, economic, and environmental vulnerabilities of SIDS, in the interest of the nearly 70 million people who permanently occupy the seascape and landscape of the SIDS, and in the interest, too, of all the other 8 billion or so persons who inhabit Mother Earth. Small island exceptionalism ought to be a category embedded formally in international law and accorded most favorable treatment. Rather than securing a most favorable treatment, the SIDS are required to fight to maintain the special considerations which providence or serendipity has bestowed upon them.
Dr. Gonsalves raised the issue of the difficulties faced by SIDS in accessing loans, advocating for a reconsideration of these challenges.
A case in point is the attempt currently by the International Development Association, IDA, to pit the most vulnerable, the SIDS, against the poorest countries in its quest to tighten the terms under which qualifying SIDS of a particular income level, such as St. Vincent and the Grenadines, obtain soft loans through the World Bank IDA nexus. In any event, why is the World Bank persisting with the single, anachronistic, and ill-designed metric of average per capita income in respect of vulnerable SIDS in the age of the Anthropocene, as against a more comprehensive and sensible measure of a multi-dimensional vulnerability?
Prime Minister Gonsalves reminded the General Assembly of the unfulfilled promises made to SIDS regarding the Climate Change Fund and appealed for grants to support these efforts. The Prime Minister also highlighted at the Assembly the damage caused by Hurricane Beryl, which has affected 1/5 of SVG's population and impacted 1/3 of the country's gross domestic product. While expressing gratitude for the assistance received, including from the United Nations, he stated that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been left to rebuild largely on its own and urged the General Assembly to assist through grants.
I'm appealing to the international community, our dear friends, to assist us, not with further burdensome loans, but with requisite grants. The recovery and reconstruction after every natural disaster increased sharply our debt burden. Countries like ours have contributed little or nothing to global warming and man-made climate change, yet we suffer largely alone on the front lines. This cannot be fair. It cannot be just. Do we have to choose death or debt, D-E-A-T-H or D-E-B-T? Which one?
Additionally, the Prime Minister called on the UN General Assembly to end the threats and sanctions against Venezuela and Cuba.
Caribbean countries have been damaged collaterally and directly in significant material ways by the weaponizing of the financial system and the unjust unilateral coercive sanctions against Venezuela and Cuba, which are in breach of international law. I am pleading with our friends for an amicable reset of these troubled relations in the interest of peace, mutual respect, justice, and prosperity. The international community continues overwhelmingly and rightly to demand the end of the unilateral sanctions, the embargoes, and unfair declarations about state sponsorship of terrorism and more made against Cuba.
In other news now, we hear that there will be a significant push for persons who are displaced by Hurricane Beryl to get back into their homes before Christmas. This is according to Dr. Randall Brewster, Minister of Housing, Informal Human Settlement, Youth and Sports, who on Star Radio this week provided some information on the temporary living spaces created by the government in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl.
On the corner, and you know it's a very merry time. It's a jolly time. And you know, not everyone may be in their ideal accommodation or the accommodation that they may want to be in. But I am sure that, you know, this government, we are going to make a big push to get a lot of the things that we have on our plate right now accomplished, leading up to the Christmas season. And I'm going to make a big push from housing in getting many of the folks back into their homes so that some of them can have a merry Christmas in 2024.
The Everything Vincy Expo night market is expected to be scaled down this year. This is according to Deputy Executive Director at Invest SVG, Nadine Aga Juilliard, who on WeFM this morning said the Everything Vincy Expo 2024 will, however, showcase a variety of offerings from the productive and services sectors. Juilliard, however, noted that they have been forced to scale back this year due to the impact of Hurricane Beryl on the island.
Have it the big one. We have creative sector, creative industries. We have agro-processing, agriculture, because there are folks that actually sell potted plants and cut flowers. We're going to be having some services will be represented, but you can imagine it will be slightly scaled down because it's not the big one that has the booth spaces and the build-out booths. Because of Hurricane Beryl, we don't have access to all the tools we usually do, like the big tents. Those are in the Grenadines and so on, providing support for our countrymen down there. So we have to bring it a little bit smaller. But Beryl took away a lot from us this year, because as a result of Ghana attending last year's event, we had a combined we had about 6 more countries, and not just from the region. We had countries who coming from real far to attend, and because we didn't, you know, we had to, as a people, we had to push our resources to support our folks in the Grenadines. We had to scale back a lot, but we anticipate when we come next year that we're gonna have a serious wow factor. You know,
the Everything Vincy Expo 2024 is expected to run from October 28 to November 1st. With a number of improvements being made to boost tourism, here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Chief Executive Officer of the SVG Tourism Authority, Annette Mack, announced that there will be tracking visitors' stays by establishing a visitors' experience unit. Mack, who spoke at a first news conference this week since taking up the position, noted that a lot of work needs to be done to grow SVG's tourism product, as the new unit is set to launch early next year.
We'll also add what is called a visitor experience unit to our portfolio. This will allow us to be able to be in touch with our visitors as they are on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When they arrive, of course, it's going to be a mobile app, and we will be able in real time to find out and to know what they are experiencing from each touch point from arrival to departure. And we will give further details in respect to this mobile app as we roll it out. And we expect that this would start hopefully in the first quarter of next year.
Mac said that they'll be working closely with stakeholders in both the private and public sectors. Areas the SVG Tourism Authority will focus on include the marketing of Vincy Mass and 9 Mornings.
With the private sector in respect to events and our festivals that we promote in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, these will include 9 Mornings, our carnival, which the minister has spoken that the tourism authority will be responsible for all of the marketing for carnival, and we look forward to working with the carnival committee in respect to marketing our carnival next year. We do work very closely with the marketing committee. We do have with the carnival committee. We sit on the board, and moving forward, we will ensure that our senior marketing officer is part of this board to assist the Carnival Committee.
The SVG Tourism Authority will also be engaged in marketing sporting events here in SVG.
Late in October, we have already supported this event, and we will be supporting it. We'll be promoting it, and also we hope that this is an event that we will be able to grow. Now, the reason we are focusing on events is that we do need as much as possible, and I can't stress it enough, that we do need as much as possible to fill our planes, that our airlines, the seats of our airlines that are coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We need as much as possible to grow our stay over numbers. We are looking good so far, but we need to keep this up, and we need to ensure that we keep on an upward trajectory.
In the 72 hours weather outlook, the SVG Met Services says moisture levels have decreased across St. Vincent and Grenadines, allowing fair to partly cloudy skies. It says occasional low-level clouds converging across our islands, along with daytime heating and light winds, could result in a few scattered showers with isolated thunderstorms across part of St. Vincent and Grenadines over the weekend. A light gentle breeze across our islands could vary from northeasterly to southeasterly in some locations, becoming calm with no cooling effect at times during the weekend. Sea conditions are slight in open water with swells ranging from 0.5 to 1.0 meters west of our islands and up to 1.2 meters east of our islands. The Met Services further notes that Hurricane Isaac is propagating northerly swells which occasionally reach our shores. Small craft operators and sea bathers should exercise caution for breaking wave action and rip currents due to northerly swells over the weekend. It says tropical storm Joyce in the central Atlantic Ocean is expected to move northwestward, then toward northward by Monday. There are no coastal watches or warnings in effect for Hurricane Isaac nor tropical storm Joyce. There is also a 20% chance of another disturbance in the eastern Atlantic Ocean by next week. The SVG Met Services says it will continue to monitor the tropical Atlantic Ocean and issue updates or advisories as necessary. In more local news now, we hear that a memory walk and rally was hosted in capital Kingston today by the SVG Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Association, Inc. in observance of Alzheimer's Awareness Month 2024. World Alzheimer's Month is an international campaign for Alzheimer's disease internationally that takes place every September when people around the globe unite to raise awareness and to challenge the stigma that persists around Alzheimer's disease and all types of dementia. World Alzheimer's Day is observed on September 21st annually. At today's rally held at the Victoria Park, President president of the SVG Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia Association, Inc., Sylvia Gould, noted that the organization was formed on April 27, 2023, with 9 members, and now it has 25 members from areas as far as Oya to Peterborough and Georgia in the United States, functioning under the motto "Striving to make Alzheimer's disease and dementia a memory," with a mission of raising awareness and educate Vincentians about Alzheimer's disease and related dementias.
We are dedicated to empowering families and caregivers to provide support to and advocacy for persons living with this Alzheimer's disease and related dementias, and through our resources and initiatives, enable these persons to lead fulfilling and dignified lives. You might be wondering, why a memory walk? This is an opportunity walk to walk either for or in memory of a loved one who has had or currently has Alzheimer's disease, to create awareness of Alzheimer's disease within the general public, and of course to help to raise vital funds for the association, because our association is a non-for-profit organization. So we have to raise funds to pay for our activities. Additionally, and quite importantly, exercise is a vital part of the prevention and management of Alzheimer's disease, and it's good for everyone.
Gould used the opportunity to share some statistics relating to knowledge and understanding of Alzheimer's disease, published in the 2023 World Alzheimer's Report from a survey by the London School of Economics and Political Science, conducted with over 40,000 respondents from persons living with Alzheimer's, carers and health practitioners, and the general public from over 166 countries and territories, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
65% of health and care professionals incorrectly believe dementia is a normal part of aging. So if I said incorrectly believe, I hope I am busting a myth here so that persons know from here on that dementia, including Alzheimer and any other form of dementia, is not a normal part of aging. 80% of the general population believe dementia is a normal part of aging, and a dramatic increase compared to 66% in 2019. These surveys are done every few years, and when this question was asked of the general public in 2019, 66% believed that it was a normal part. Unfortunately, last year, this increased to 80%. So it shows that there's a dearth of knowledge worldwide about these conditions. 88% of people living with dementia indicate that they experience discrimination. Over a quarter of people globally incorrectly believe there is nothing we can do to prevent dementia, with that number increasing from 20% in 2019, right? Particularly in lower and middle income countries. Again, another myth that we have to bust, that we can do something about dementias. These underlie the fact that the time to act on Alzheimer's disease and dementia is now. Unless we make inroads into education, awareness, and advocacy for people living with this condition, the number of cases will spiral out of control due to ignorance and fear.
Minister of National Mobilization Kiesel Peters also addressed the rally today and told the gathering that Alzheimer's is a challenging condition that affects millions worldwide.
Alzheimer's is not just a medical diagnosis. It affects families, caregivers, and communities. And millions of people globally are living with dementia, with Alzheimer's being the most common form. It is more than just memory loss. It affects communication, mobility, and daily functioning, and it can be devastating for both individuals and their loved ones, often leading to emotional, physical, and financial challenges. Awareness is the first step toward change, and today's walk and rally is not just about the distance we covered, but the conversations we spark. Understanding the symptoms, progression, and challenges of Alzheimer's can help reduce the stigma. Awareness leads to understanding, and understanding fosters compassion and support for those affected. Together, we can break the stigma surrounding Alzheimer's and promote a more informed society. And today's rally is about making sure that people know they are not alone and there are resources and support available. And I encourage everyone to engage with the resources available, for instance, educational material, support groups, and advocacy organizations.
The Ministry of Education says it will embark on a series of stakeholder consultation and sensitization sessions to gather feedback on the first draft of a new curriculum, which will soon be fully implemented in primary schools here and across the OECS region. According to the ministry, this new curriculum is referred to as the Digital OECS Harmonized Primary Curriculum, or the DOHPC, and is scheduled to be micropiloted soon in 15 primary schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The new curriculum is being developed under the OECS Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning. The OECS Pearl Curriculum Focal Point, Aldea Gumsdyer, provides a review of the curriculum development process.
We started the process about 2 years ago. The objective we were given was to create a new digital OECS harmonized primary curriculum in 4 core areas: mathematics, social studies, science, and language arts.
Member of the Curriculum Development and Implementation Team, Juanita Hunt-King, said the DOHPC is crucial for ensuring that primary school students receive the best possible learning experience, preparing them for further learning and living.
We are developing a curriculum that is for the future. It is encompassing the 21st century skills. This curriculum is learner-centered. That means that the students are the focus of this curriculum. So no longer will it just be targeting, specific students. It is a curriculum that targets different kinds of students with different learning needs and different learning styles. This curriculum also embraces inclusivity. That means that our teachers are going to use this curriculum to make certain that all students have equal and equitable opportunities.
The ministry says its stakeholder engagement drive related to the introduction of the DOHPC seeks to engage a wide range of stakeholders, including students, teachers, and school administrators. It will also take into account the perspectives of parents, community members, advocacy groups, including persons with disabilities, representatives from the creative sector and industry, and commerce professionals. The consultation and sensitization initiative is aimed at raising among stakeholders awareness and understanding of the new curriculum ahead of its full implementation, thus ensure that they are adequately informed about its contents and goals. A critical part of the consultation initiative is for stakeholders to see themselves as active partners in the curriculum development process, thus promoting a sense of shared responsibility for the success of the implementation process. The engagement sessions will also provide principals and teachers with resources, training, and support for effective micropiloting while identifying and addressing any potential barriers to implementation. That explains what the micropiloting phase is all about.
What this micropiloting involves is basically selecting sections of the curriculum now that we have the first draft. And teachers will implement these specific sections in the classroom. Now, as they implement, they themselves will gather data and they will be able to provide feedback
to the consultants, to us the writers, so that we can know whether or not this is the most appropriate way of putting particular sections. And because this is happening during the process that we are still finalizing the curriculum, then we are able to take the feedback and enhance what was provided based on the teacher's experience. So it is really a very important process, and we are all excited about it, and we want to encourage our teachers to do it with all of their might so that we can really have the best curriculum that meet the needs of our students at the end of the day.
Beginning Wednesday, October 2nd, the consultation and sensitization sessions will take place at various locations throughout the country. In other local news now, we hear that police have arrested and charged Mavis Cockburn, a 45-year-old domestic worker of Lomans Windward, with 2 counts of assault related to the physical abuse of an 8-year-old student. Cockburn is alleged to have assaulted the minor by beating him with a piece of board and belt about the body, causing actual bodily harm. In addition, it is further alleged that between May 1st, 2024 and September 19, 2024, Cockburn, who had custody of the minor, willfully assaulted him in a manner causing unnecessary injury to his health. The offences were committed in Lomans Windward. Cockburn appeared before the Kingston Magistrate Court on September 26, 2024 and pleaded not guilty to the charges. She was granted composite bail in the sum of 2,000 EC dollars with 1 surety. She was also ordered not to have any contact with the complainant and to report to the Bible Police Station every Wednesday between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. The matter was adjourned and transferred to the family court for October 3rd, 2024. In another police matter, we hear that personnel from the Rapid Response Unit conducted a stop and search operation on the Peterborough Public Road, resulting in the arrest of Michael Lave, a 46-year-old farmer from Peterborough. During the operation, 1.6 grams of cocaine were discovered in Lave's vehicle. Following the vehicle search, a raid was conducted at Lave's residence in Peterborough, where an additional 14 grams of cocaine were found. Lave appeared before the Serious Offences Court on Monday, September 23rd, 2024, where he pleaded guilty to both charges. The court fined him $50 for the 1.6 grams of cocaine found in his vehicle and $200 for the 14 grams found at his residence, payable forthwith. Failure to pay the fines will result in a 3-month prison sentence for each charge. The RSPF urges the public to take immediate action by reporting any suspicious behavior or illegal activities, particularly drug trafficking. The law enforcement agency says your cooperation is vital by staying vigilant and working directly with the police, noting that your help protect your community and keep the nation safe.